Start the recording as well. All right, that's all done. Oh, we already cleared Asia buy side. It was a matter of time, but anyway, not worth the risk, if you ask me. We traded this London session in the morning, and well, turned out to be a little bit slower than we usually anticipate Monday morning. New York just opened up, it's 9:30. We closed above the Asia buy side. Let's see if NQ done the same. Yeah, NQ also formed a new high of day. See what we can do. Here on NQ, speaking about the higher time frame, not the daily but the hourly, we still have those two highs to target. ES is already way past that point. ES is getting closer. Actually, if we take a look at the hourly time frame here real quick, those are the two highs that I'm talking about here on NQ. You can see that right here. Those are the highs I just referenced. And we're already way past inside of those hourly or 4-hour bearish fair value gaps here on ES. This huge bearish fair value gap. We have FOMC on Wednesday, NFP on Friday, so buckle up. We're in for a ride this week. Definitely not going to hold some major swing trades. I think that's the wrong approach, at least for today. Looking at the hourly, we open up with a nice new week opening gap. We had Thursday turnaround, close above the previous day's high, close above the previous day's high. And we're roughly 40 points away from reaching that buy side liquidity, which could be possible today. If we go back to the, what was it, the London session, the trades we took this morning. Let's let the New York Open just play out a little bit. If you're not long already, it's not worth jumping in long right here. At least wait for a fair value gap or something. At least that's my plan. If we take a look at the recap, right here. So this morning, those 3 equal Asia session highs really, well, made me believe that after right here, London opened up at 3 a.m. New York local time, and after consolidating for 40 minutes straight, we're gonna run into the Asia sell side, and then we're gonna continue into these 3 equal highs essentially. That's what I've been looking for. So we got the fake out, never reached the Asia sell side, but left behind this nice bullish fair value gap. So I tried to, those are not my executions by the way, I just put them on the chart. I have essentially as the best trade setups of each specific trading day, or the trades that I also took, just so you know. And I store them in a folder right here, which makes it much easier for me to journal. We have going up good. Let's see, this is our buy side on NQ. Like I said, if you're not in already, risk to reward is just not very promising unless you like to chase something. But what we did this morning, long right here off the VWAP of this bullish fair value gap. It continued higher. We bounced off the VWAP, but we tested a 15-minute bearish fair value gap right here. You see that? We filled in this 15-minute bearish, and then we rejected. We never went above that, unfortunately. Consolidated, closed back below the midnight level, back above it. Then we managed to close back below it. Then we were trapped between VWAP and the midnight opening. And right here on this candle, we closed at the 50% back below the VWAP. We swept this low. I closed my position once I saw the close below this low, because this essentially is your fake out, another fake out, and higher high, followed by a market structure shift. So I closed the trade right here. My initial stop loss was at the new week opening gap. So I saved myself like 50% of the initial risk, waiting for this bullish fair value gap to be inverted. Right here on this candle close, we closed below the bullish fair value gap. I entered short right here Also pointed that out in the tapering chat, targeting Asia sell side and the low of the day right here to fill in some more of that new week opening gap. Once we ran that low, what happened? We left behind a big bearish fair value gap. We closed above it very quickly, a V-shaped recovery. Come back to retest the inversion fair value gap. Leave behind a breaker block after we shifted market structure right here. Come back to retest the breaker block, and then we shot up. Consolidated a little bit prior to the New York Open. Bouncing off the VWAP. Actually holding the 830 level very nicely. So that's the 830 opening, this dotted line right here. And the midnight level almost at the same price. And we see how oftentimes we came back to retest it, rejected off the 830 open. Closed right on it. Went below it. Tapped the VWAP again. Came back. Tested the 830 open one more time at 925. Pushed above the 3 equal highs from the Asia kill zone. And now that's where we're at. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to ask. I am long 17, 9, 9, 10. Yeah, nice. We don't have the biggest range so far yet. Still waiting for... Well, if we really continue higher, those should be good targets to look out for based on the hourly time frame here. These two highs. Everything else is just, yeah, not standing out. Even on the 4-hour time frame, we have those two highs. So far, we've been in an uptrend. So that those would just be, yeah, most obvious next buy-side liquidity targets. We also have a daily bearish fair value gap just above the second high. If we go back to the 4-hour time frame, daily bearish fair value gap. Also starting to get into this inversion fair value gap if we take a closer look. Inversion fair value gap, bearish fair value gap. Doesn't mean we have to reject from here first. We want to see the reaction, because so far this retracement, we can call it, after this rather quick drop to the downside within 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days, it could be recovered. So I'm not just blindly shorting this bearish fair value gap, even though it would make sense because we have the breaker block, the stone closing candle, a inversion fair value gap, and a bearish fair value gap, all overlapping above these highs right here that we pointed out. Oop, turn around. Let's see, this weekend I've spent some time recapping stuff on the S&P 500, just journaling what, in my opinion, were the best entries, or yeah, entries and exits on the S&P 500. Like, for example, from Friday's live stream. Was it Friday's live stream? 9:05. Seems a bit early. 9:05, 9:25, 9:30. Anyway, just the best entries within my timing window. Here with the SMT divergence, we talked about it last Friday. I also uploaded it to YouTube on Monday. And I've went through the past, I don't know, 4, 5, or 6 weeks, yesterday and Saturday, looking for the best trade setups according to my style. But let's see what's happening right now. Back to the midnight level. We can see at the midnight level, the previous day's high and the previous week's high are exactly, yeah, at the same price. See that? Well, maybe one tick apart from each other, but it's almost the same price. It looks pretty bearish. Let's see if ES wants to catch up. Now looks like they are pulling the rug here on NQ. So you either take a market order entry right here, or you just miss the train. Let's see how that's corresponding with ES. Let me hide the recap stuff here. Bongo, I hope it hit your TP. Nice. Being content with enough. Good skill to master. On NQ, just to point it out, we also didn't take out the low of the day. And look how many equal lows we have here. So this is the opening candle. If I hide the ICT all in one. 1, 2, 3 perfect equal lows. And keep in mind that on ES, we already cleared the low of the day right here. So the Nasdaq might be coming down to smack into that right now. A bearish candle without a single tick to the upside right after the opening. But if we go down to the 1 second or 5 second time frame, now let's actually go down to the 1 second time frame. Can actually see the textbook 2022 model. I'm just kidding. Let's take a look at the 1 minute. If we pumped up, no inversion fair value gap. Well, inversion fair value gap right up here, but still, I think the only way to get on trades like these is to market order. But candles like this are pretty rare. Let's see if we have any. No major news event. Whoa, yeah, okay. Well, you could have used weakness on NQ to go short on ES. I was planning on doing that, but now the risk reward ratio is just off limits. Doesn't really make sense to go short now. I wanted to wait for the 5 minute time frame close here, really. But now we just melted. And yeah, really, there's no point in jumping in now. I wanted to see, yes, close below the midnight level, but yeah, that's just my bad. That would have been your 6 sister setup. So NQ cleared. First of all, London buy side. 1, 2, 3 pushes above that. That would be the next sell side liquidity pool. Crazy. Yes, still has a little bit to go. and could potentially fill in that new week opening gap. If we go over to the regular trading hours, you can also see a pretty big regular trading hours opening gap, and we just filled in roughly, measured by the eye, 50% of it. Yeah, roughly 50%. So we still have another 50% to go if you think about it that way, until we completely have it filled in. Question is, how would we end on that? Not interested on going short on NQ. NQ already, well, delivered, filled in the entire new week opening gap. Let's go to the 15 minute. 15 minute just closed. Higher low, higher high, lowest down closing candle on 5 minute time frame. It's gonna be our breaker block. Our inversion fair value gap above. We have an inversion fair value gap from over here as well, but I don't know, it might be too old. Yeah, buy SMT is given, but well, so far it's just SMT divergence. There's no other confirmation that we're reversing right now. I would at least wait for the inversion fair value gap. So I'm happy to wait for this candle to close. Before I take an entry. Because then we likely also have a bearish fair value gap, a pretty big one actually. Let me take a look at where the midnight opening level is right here on my CFD chart. Right here. If I take another trade today, it better be a good trade. If you know what I mean. Because I already made some profit today. I'm not really sure if I want to give it back. Of course, it's not my intention to give it back. That's why it's better going to be a good one. Let's take a look at NQ. 1 minute to go before this 5 minute candle is going to close. Let's take a look at what the hourly looks like right now. A 4-hour time frame. No, if anything, I'm looking for sells right now off the breaker block, paired with the bearish fair value gap, into sell side on ES. Not sure why. I mean, for buys, really, it's just too early. That's the only confluence we have is SMT divergence, and this could potentially be a fake out move, and we still continue to go higher. Would be a heck of a fake out move, but sometimes that does happen. Right, so we open up with a volume imbalance right at the midnight level here on ES. And now we have a nice bearish fair value gap. Gonna put my stop loss at 50%, leave my take profit target here, but I'm gonna place a pending order right here on that fair value gap. We might not actually get into it. The breaker block might also be holding. Fully aware of that, but big resistance. I knew I should have entered on the midnight level. Dang. Well, I'm not in yet. Like I said, my limit order is sitting right on this bearish fair value gap. Would prefer an entry like that. One minute time frame. Dang. I really thought we can get a little tap into the bearish fair value gap. Seems like today is not the day. We'll see. Maybe we still get it. But even if we do, especially after doing this right now, if it were to happen on the same, nah, I don't think we'll get it. Damn, did anyone take it off the midnight level? I really contemplated, but risk reward just wasn't clean enough at that point in time. Hope someone caught it. Well, it's not over yet, but it's already a decent move off the midnight level. Nice, good job, Samo. Already 5 points. Let's take a look at NQ. Yeah, NQ is also pushing lower. Never actually tapped the bearish fair value gap. Similar to what happened on ES. $40 seconds gone is 5-minute candle. What's the time? It's 9:50. Next candle is going to be the 9:55 candle and close of the hourly candle. Nice. Good job, Kati. Right off the midnight level, probably. Yeah, I thought I really can catch the entry a little bit up higher, but seems like I didn't get lucky. Bearish engulfing off the midnight level. Should really see this thing continue lower. If we don't, then, well, then we're just playing with new week opening gap. Hmm, 15-minute order block. Nice. Dang it. No, not worth it. Keep in mind it's gonna be in 3 minutes and 3.5 minutes we get the close confirmation of this hourly candle. We don't really have hourly fair value gaps to work with. We just have our regular trading hours gap. We also get a 4-hour candle close. So this 4-hour candle is also going to be closing in 3 minutes. I think you actually tapped the low now. Now we're testing the breaker block again. Actually, if we get back up into that fair value gap, I'm not really sure if I want to get filled. Especially after rejecting already from it. Because it would essentially mean chop of the new week opening gap, if that makes sense. Paired with bullish SMT. If you think about it, we shifted structure, we pulled back, we rejected. If we now come back to that same area, it would mean, well, that the chart's going to look messy, and I'm not really up for that. Then I want to see how far, how big the retracement can potentially be, and look for a better entry. Also given the fact that we have new 4-hour time frame momentum dropping in 1.5 minutes, new 1-hour time frame candle opening, new 15-minute, new 30-minute, new 2-hour. Down to the last minute. Wednesday ADP at 8:15, then at 9:45, then at 10 a.m., then at 2 p.m., and then at 2:30. Wednesday's going to be hell of a day. Thursday is going to be calm, just unemployment claims at 8:30, then NFP Friday. And PMI news at 10 a.m. That's gonna be hectic. Not gonna lie. 8:30 news followed by 10 a.m. news. Here we have 8:15 news. 9:45, so 15 minutes after the opening. Then another 15 minutes after that. 10 a.m. news. Gonna be interesting. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. So now we would be filled. But I don't like getting filled on a new 1/4 hour opening. Already mentioned that. If we were to get an inversion fair value gap right here on NQ, I would take that. Entry long off here into the SPY side. Just tapped previous week, previous day's high again. As long as we don't close above it, we're all fine. I just want to see, what's happening on that new 4/1 hour candle before I take my entry, especially with my stop somewhere in here. I don't want to mess with that new momentum. And why would I prefer taking the long then on NQ? Because NQ actually took sell side liquidity here. And we have nice buy side liquidity targets. Filled in the entire new week opening gap. So yeah, that would be the preferred trade really. Looking at the 1 minute time frame, what does that one look like? We filled in the entire 5 minute bearish. One hour time frame. 4 hour time frame. And why I'm not worried that I could miss the short is essentially if we continue lower, then we're likely going to get a lower high right here, and I can catch my entry somewhere down here. Then I can adjust my risk to reward ratio better than I can with putting my entry right here and my stop loss somewhere at the 50% of those candles, if that makes sense. And my stop loss is going to be smaller relative to my take profit target. So if we have filled this in and we engulf and close back below the midnight level and really reject from here, then I'm going to take the continuation entry into the sell side with a stop loss above a new lower high being formed. Instead of putting my entry right here now, especially knowing that we have a new 1 and 4 hour time frame opening that could bring some momentum into the market, just to get stopped out. Big 15-minute time frame fair value gap actually. So it might be smarter to wait on NQ at least. Safer entry would be to close above the 15-minute time frame bearish fair value gap, also on the 15-minute time frame. Let's see how we close, if we manage to close above the midnight and VWAP. 20 seconds to go. Open with a bullish volume imbalance here. Just want to note that above the VWAP, above the midnight level. And here we have our 8:30 opening again. See that? 8:30 opening. Look how many times we already referenced that one. Once we rejected of it, then we closed and open on it. Rejected on it one more time. Volume imbalance lower. Now we're back above it and we retested it one more time. Look how much stuff we have laying around here. We have the VWAP, the midnight level, and the 8:30 opening. Now we open with a bullish volume imbalance. If we now manage to close above the bearish value gap, that, well, for me at least, would really confirm the interest of price running out these highs. Also paired with bullish SMT divergence. Not saying that that's gonna happen. That's one scenario. If you're already in short, you can simply wait for the close above and then take off some risk or reverse your position. In terms of daily bias, it's really hard to tell here, especially when scalping. Usually it doesn't help. One minute to go. Thirty seconds till Mars. No. So far we're still respecting everything. 20 seconds to go. We also didn't close above on NQ. Closed right on the VWAP. That's just what's most important to me, to really be specific about those things. Otherwise, why trade with specific rules over after all? It's like earlier this morning, I looked at the potential inversion fair value gap setup right here. So we take out the low of the day, we have bullish SMT divergence, everything. It's a textbook setup. NQ didn't do this. We tested a 50% again, filled in some more of the new week opening gap, but we have shown zero interest of us continuing lower. Instead, we immediately recovered this entire dip here. We also had a new hourly opening right here, and not just any new hour opening. Also at 6 a.m. we also have a new 4-hour candle opening. That's why we have a new 4-hour opening at 10. We close above it, we retest it, and then a very simple scalp. It's my first one-to-one risk reward scalp just to the VWAP. Then we came back to retest it, and we didn't actually just retest the inversion fair value gap, we also retested the breaker block right here, because we formed a lower low, lower high, lower low. Shifted right here because we formed a new higher high. Came back to retest the breaker block. Then we took it higher from there. Went sideways for a little bit, had our, well, manipulation up higher, followed by very likely the manipulation lower. So far today has been pretty manipulative, if you ask me. Having been around here for the London session before this job, fake out lower, pump higher, trap them, not take it into the equal highs, and then take it lower. Two minutes left. Looks like we gonna get our inversion fair value gap. $15-minute time frame. Oh, we could be getting even our 15-minute inversion. That would be big. If we were to close above 17,903 on this candle, so we have 1 minute left. If we get that final push, definitely gonna take my entry. Even though the risk to reward might be a little bit smaller, just a 1-to-1, but that's perfectly fine with me. Just tap the midnight level again here, and note that we have another bearish fair value gap here on NQ. Get rid of all these lines here for a second. $15-minute time frame on ES looking bullish. Going to close in 3 seconds. Bullish volume imbalance. Risk. Stop loss. TP. So let's see what I place on. S&P. Of this one, this is our main inversion fair value gap of interest right now. Here we have buy side liquidity from all the trap charts. Open up with the volume imbalance, immediately retested the previous candle's closing price and continue higher. Yes, I entered a long on NQ. It's could be risky, but I like this buy setup here. We have our first inversion fair value gap. We managed to close above the VWAP. So now, yeah, essentially what needs to happen over the course of the next 15 minutes is that we can see a strong continuation push. I mean, my stop loss is all the way below here. I would exit the position early if we were to close back below our inversion fair value gap right here. Yes, it's really going for it. And Q is still lagging behind. Let's see if we can get that push now. Main resistance at the midnight level, we can see that. Now we're starting to retest the inversion. This just looks too easy to be ran out with a quick move to the downside. The slow and steady grind to the upside. Same thing, by the way, here on NQ. As long as we're holding the VWAP, we're good for now. If we manage to close above this bearish fair value gap here on a 5-minute time frame, I add another position to the trade. But for now, I'm splitting up the risk. And even if we manage to close back below the inversion fair value gap and I take my exit, so let's say we close somewhere right here with my entry somewhere around here, it's still fine. It's still, with my stop loss being up down here, less than 50% of my initial risk. So let's consider this a low risk entry. Not waiting for my stop loss to be hit down here, that would be silly. $10.20. We open up with another volume imbalance. Back to back. Immediate rebalancing. Not leaving behind new bullish fair value gaps. So this wick low matches this wick's high. So in between we don't have our fair value gap. Most recent fair value gap we left behind was right here. Also keep in mind it's Monday, we have a news week with FOMC and NFP and many others on the schedule. So There's nothing wrong about starting off slowly. Now we have filled in the entire 15-minute bearish. This red line. Still getting rejected. A close above it, at least on a 5-minute time frame, would be nice to see. On this 5-minute candle, after retesting the lowest inversion fair value gap. Ideally a push above 17909.5. Every time we try to push into it, we fail. Makes sense why, yeah, ES looks much stronger, because, well, it didn't dip all the way below these lows, and Q did. That's why it's likely struggling, and it's not already up here. Just under 2 minutes. Take a look at some other charts. Euro, US dollar. Also not the best. Taking a look at gold. Nasdaq. S&P, and lastly Bitcoin. No, that's about all I need. Yeah, now what essentially is going to happen is run out of all these stuffs. We'll see. Can really push above it. Tested the 50% of the inversion fair value gap. Right here. Preferred it to hold. Yes, no, also retested the inversion fair value gap. We've missed that here. Let's see how the candle is going to close. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we can see how it pushed and respected this volume imbalance here last minute, or last second essentially, retesting the inversion, still respecting the volume imbalance. That's nice to see. Let's see if we can capitalize on that and use the paper account. Put our stop below this low. Take profit target at this high. Just an experimentary trade. Don't take this trade. There's a reason why I take it on the paper account. Just curious. Since we're still seeing bullish order flow being respected with the volume imbalances. Hmm. Not the easiest session to trade, but also due to the large range from high of day to low of day, back to high of day. We'll see. Gonna be back in 1 minute. Still holding up. Let's take a look at NQ. Yeah. 10:25. So that's also going to be a new 15-minute candle opening / close. Uh, 26 seconds left. I'm usually not a fan of the 10:30 candle, especially if we don't get nice confirmation. 15 seconds left. Usually we like to turn around at the 30-minute mark. Let's see if it happens this time. I stay in the trade. New 15-minute candle right here. Candle close also respected the volume imbalance. Nice. But this is looking a bit sketchy, if you ask me. Failure to continue higher usually just means one thing. Exactly the opposite. Nice 15-minute bearish. Guess we'll see. Nice. Finally, we're getting some movement here. minutes sideways. Retest inversion fair value gap. Respect bullish order flow. So let's see. We're now left behind eek for highs. Nice little pair at least. Looking forward for this high to be ran out. During this candle, we still have 3 minutes to go. Discord message? No, not on live chat. Yeah, we just ran it out. Now we've got a message. Let me check it out. Target on NQ. My target is right up here. Hourly buy side. Sort of a swing trade if we want to call it this. But we had a nice little stop run. And we're pushing, especially if we get close above the 15-minute. Buy side liquidity at 17,968. Like I said, I didn't risk much. I'm just going for a simple one-to-one risk to reward here. We'll see. And if we look at buy side liquidity on ES, really there's none. Next target, I guess, would be bearish fair value gaps above, but essentially, especially if we look at the 4-hour time frame, we're in the middle of nowhere. If we go to the daily time frame, well, the question of the day is going to be if we manage to invert this bearish fair value gap. If we can, well, we still have the FOMC news event and NFP news event, so I think it would be too early to call anything. But yeah, just saying, inversion fair value gap. If we were to see a setup like this on the lower time frames, we know what to do. Nice close here, above the high. Let's move our paper stop to break even. If we were to go over it, we're not really interested. Nice, we have our second inversion fair value gap now on NQ. We pushed above the midnight level, held on the VWAP. We want to see the continuation from here now. Rejecting a little bit too hard for my liking. There we got stopped out. Not the cleanest price delivery, but I mean, look at the conditions we're trading in. So my continuation entry idea essentially would be midnight level in Q, short-term low, 2-to-1 risk reward. After 2 inversion fair value gaps. If we fail both of them, well, so be it. Oh, we're right on the midnight level, so let's actually take it. And now it's just gonna dump. 15-minute, well, let's see. We still have the chance to close above the 15, but we need to hold the VWAP. ES. Yeah, that trade is gone. It's gonna hit stop loss hard. Delayed. Goddamn 10:30. Like I said, we like to turn around at the 10:30 mark. Sometimes a little bit later, sometimes a little bit earlier, but we like to do that. So I am going to close this position because this low is destined to be cleared. So I saved myself a little bit. Yeah, no, we would have been stopped out. Saved myself around 100 bucks. Yeah, Mondays, right? So let's see if we can still bounce. If we manage to close below that low, I'm gonna get out of that second long as well. Yeah, long. Because then that would be a confirmed market structure shift, and I think we're likely heading lower. Mondays, yeah. Look at that price action. I mean, we made a good call here. At least ran into a new high. But somewhat to be expected. Looking at the 1 minute, seeing how much we struggled getting up here. Let's see. This could be the final stop. Yeah, final stop hunt. Because we just tested a bullish fair value gap here on the 15. Filled it into the tick actually. So if we can reject off this bullish fair value gap and manage to push above the overall 15-minute bearish, we're good to go with the trade on NQ, and it's looking like that. Let's actually see. It was a very good call to close this one a little bit earlier and not wait to get stopped out. 167 instead of 250. So still overall a net profit. Let's see if we get that 15-minute time frame confirmation. Oh, that would be nice. Otherwise, we're likely continuing lower. On ES, the overall inversion fair value gap held up nicely. We didn't close below it yet. Although it's not looking great or something like a textbook setup, but Monday. Friggin' Monday. Let's see. And we get down to the final 15 minutes of the SilverBullet timing window. We're pushing. See if we can get back above the VWAP after the little stop hunt here. Well, little stop hunt. Relative. We need to close above here to get a nice 15-minute time frame confirmation. 1.5 minutes to go. Come on. I know you want to push. Stupid really to get stopped out like, well, at least I didn't get stopped out. Smart enough to tell that, well, okay, I'm about to lose 250. So I had two options. Put my stop loss all the way below here and risk more than I initially anticipated. Or to cut my loss small and actually save, well, almost. 170, yeah, a little bit more than 80 bucks. Come on. Damn. Didn't get the close above our 15-minute bearish. We're stuck inside here. Up and down, 2 dojis so far, 2 inside bars. I'm gonna hold on too long because the lowest inversion fair value gap right here is still holding up. We had a nice little stop hunt now. So everyone that already tried to, well, essentially take the same trade that I took, that continuation trade with stops below here, they're already off the table now. So I'm going to be holding on until this fair value gap is invalidated. If that were to happen, I'm just going to call it a day, back to break even, or maybe little bits of drawdown. Come back stronger tomorrow. Well, not stronger, but you know what I mean. Take a look at ES here. Yeah, that's where we're at. I don't think so. No, just a little bit above that high. Yeah, that's why CFD contract is off due to this gap. I wondered. I'm gonna take my exit based on the futures chart in that case. Yeah, failed to continue higher once more. I think now we're gonna break. Little head and shoulder setup right here. Messy on the 5-minute time frame, 15-minute time frame. Well, the only thing you would have done there is, even on the 15-minute time frame, this up and down is just tedious. Really hard to trade, especially if it's a large range. 1 hour time frame. Well, same thing really on the 1 hour time frame. Could put it in a box. Our range so far. Let me visualize it. That's what happened on the hourly. Just looking at the candle bodies. Lowest close. Highest close right here. We overshot our box with a wick to both the up and down side. But that's essentially the box we're trapped in. Still holding the midnight level here though. But only as we now managed to close back below our inversion fair value gap. Yeah, I don't know. I think we're more likely breaking lower. The confirmation I'd be waiting for would be this bullish fair value gap. Once we manage to close below that and midnight level, could be looking forward to see these lows being cleared. Well, we're gonna have days like this and days like that. It's just part of it. We have to do our best as risk managers and protect our capital. We get a new hourly candle in 8.5 minutes. So let's see where that takes us. It's also going to be the end of the live stream. I won't take any more trades after this one, depending on what the chart's going to look like before 11 a.m. If we manage to break below our inversion fair value gap here, we held support nicely and immediately bounced back after the stop hunt. If we wouldn't have done that, we would already be out of the trade. So just looking at the regular trading hours. I think that little scalp right here so far was the best opportunity. Or right from the inversion fair value gap into a new high. But it didn't offer anything more than that. We took a little scalp right here off the breaker block midnight level. Offered a 1-to-1 risk to reward, but well, immediately bounced back. Indecisive Monday. Overall, just looking at the S&P 500 chart, I think my gut tells me that we're likely heading lower. So I'm waiting to see what happens on this fair value gap. But we have a new hourly candle opening up and everything could essentially happen. We just talked about it here on the hourly time frame, being trapped inside the box. Same thing essentially here on ES. But the box is almost the same size. The only thing that didn't happen on ES is the wicks below the box. We've seen it on NQ, but we did not see it yet on ES. Damn. We actually had a 1 hour bullish fair value gap here. Interesting. Now it's 10:55. 10:55, 5-minute time frame close. It's gonna decide where the 1 hour candle is closing, but we can't really use the 1 hour time frame. Well, rejection wick to the upside. Hit the highest up closing candle. Continuation lower question mark. Yeah, Katya, good call. See you tomorrow. Are there any questions? Because now would be the time to ask. All good. Well, I think, yeah, today it's just one of those days. Typical Mondays. We'll see. We're still on the trade. Could still play out. We have our buy side targets. Our lowest fair value gap is holding up. Our higher inversion fair value gap, unfortunately, didn't hold up. I'm essentially going to set an alert here so I don't forget about it. The day is testing your patience. Why is it? Because you're still waiting for these highs to be run? Yes, but that's only a holiday, as far as I know, here in Germany. Let me check. 1st of May. It's definitely not in the US. Yeah, French, German, and Italian bank holidays. So European bank holiday on Wednesday, the 1st of May. Yeah, that's that kind of price action you just want to skip. Not even worth spending time in front of the charts if price action is like this. Eventually, we're gonna get the relief. Then you come back to the charts and like, oh, if I would have just stayed here, but chances of you messing it up in the meantime are just too high. Really, really not worth it. Yeah, at least the New York session, I would agree with that. But like I say so often, it's still worth giving it a try. Low probability. I think this move made it low probability. I think every day is a trading day. In my opinion, saying that it's maybe lower probability for big moves in terms of swing trades, but for scalps, every day is a trading day. Only depends on what you're looking forward to get from the market. My question would be, that doesn't matter. All right, we closed on the hourly. Didn't really go anywhere here on. Yes, we pushed back above the VWAP. I'm getting out of the trade at break even. I don't mind. I really can't be bothered staying in this trade. Even if it plays out now, I think there will be better opportunities this week. And with that, I'm also going to end today's live stream. So thanks very much for joining in and for sitting through this mania with me. I think we've done, well, pretty well in terms of reading the tape, looking at the lower time frame and stuff like that. But overall, after this major drop here to the downside, well, essentially right now what's happening is we're consolidating at the 50% level. Not really sure which way to go. We had some idea that we could, essentially use this inverted fair value gap, continue higher into buy side. Seems like today isn't the day for that. So right now we're just chopping at consequent encouragement of that entire trading range of the day. We'll see how it plays out. If I made a good call, essentially taking my loss here and breaking even for the day. but I think it's much better than wasting any more time in front of the charts. Low probability, choppy range, usually just ends up with me losing accounts. Alright guys, thanks very much. Unless there are any more questions, that's going to be the end of the live stream. So make sure to ask. Or maybe let's end it this way. What do you think is going to happen from here? Are we going to take the high? Are we going to take the low? Just put high or low into the chat, and then we're going to take a look at it tomorrow and see what's right or wrong. You hope the high, so you're still holding, I guess? No, I just can't be that. Sunshine outside and not worth it. The high 100%. Bongo, what do you think? H. Smith, your call. It looks terrible on the 1 minute time frame. Well, depending on what the 15-minute time frame is looking like, my invalidation would be the 15-minute bullish fair value gap right here. If we manage to close below that, since we never managed to close above it, would essentially be a confirmation that we are going to continue lower. So far we never made it above our 15-minute bearish. So I would kind of focus on that a little bit. $15-minute bearish. Inside we have a 15-minute bullish. That's funny. And on ES, essentially I would be waiting for this bullish fair value gap to fail, but like we already said, it's low probability. Even if we get the close below, it's not like we've respected any of the fair value gaps we've created so far today anyway, making it lower probability that if we eventually break it and invert it, actually respect it. So, and with that, we're gonna end today's live stream. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm gonna be back tomorrow for the London tape read. Looks like I just saved myself something, but we will see. Maybe it's just another stop hunt. Until tomorrow, guys, take care and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye. Yep, looks like I saved myself here. Bye.